So me and my partner in crime, Gøril, we both come from Norway. So we have been here a couple of days because we are on a mission. 10 years ago, we was introduced to a new field called nutrition and test-based nutrition. Never heard of it before. As I worked 30 years with health and thought I knew it all, I was blown away that you actually, with one single test, could look at the most important, and that's your cellular health. So Gøril, what are we expecting today?
Of course, we're expecting, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, okay. A presentation from the best. So that's the first thing. After that, I'm sure you'll have a lot of questions. So we'll do a short break and then we'll do Q&A. So if you have questions, you can find me in the break. If you want to ask them personally, I will hand you the microphone. So I will be in the back of the room or outside and you can find me. So just prepare your questions when he speaks.
So today, I'm really honored to introduce to you a person I met 9 years ago. And I can actually say we have become really good friends. We have traveling in many countries in Europe over the last years. And that's why I'm really excited for you to meet him today. I mean, because I'm Norwegian, I need to look at my phone. It's very difficult words because he's a doctor. So I choose to say, in a very easy way, he's the leading scientist in the field of nutrition. So this man has spent 40 years doing research and found a solution for us that can help us get the best health ever. And he is on a mission to educate everyone around us and you so we can bring this out to more people. And just to know, he is the former chair of the Forum on Food and Health at the Royal Society of Medicine, which is absolutely amazing. And he's also a senior scientific advisor to the UK government in the Committee of the Safety of Medicines. So this is a person who knows a lot about the pharma, and now he wants to introduce us to a new segment for the pharma called nutrition. So I want you to give the warmest welcome to the world famous Dr. Paul Clayton.
You might be wondering, why is our public health in such a bad state when for the last half century the pharmaceutical industry has gone from strength to strength. They've become one of the globally dominant economic sectors, so much so that they have successfully hired, rented, co-opted enough politicians to have corrupted most of the regulatory agencies that were originally set up to protect us. So institutions like EFSA, the FDA, TGA, have all been insidiously affected by pharmaceutical money to the point where they don't really look after our safety very much anymore. That's not their primary role. What they mostly seem to do is to service the requirements of the pharmaceutical industry, who have moved the goalposts so many times. I mean, it's not the same game that it was when I started, not 40 years ago, as Stevie said, but 50 years ago. You have to remember that 50 years ago, when I went to medical school in 1968, period when the pharmaceutical blockbusters were being released. You know, the proton pump inhibitors, selected antihypertensive medications, some of the first of the modern psychotropic drugs. And it really did feel at that time that the pharmaceutical model was going to create a situation where nobody would have to be ill anymore. That's what we were taught. That's what my fellow students were taught. And even in 1968, I was starting to see signs that maybe this model wasn't the right one. So at the time I finished at Edinburgh University, I did various degrees there. I think I was there for 10 years. And so by the time I left, I had really fallen out of love with the pharmaceutical model because it was clear to me, even then, that drugs were quite good at suppressing the symptoms of many of these diseases that were self-reported, but they weren't curing anything. And they came with a whole array of adverse effects, side effects, that in some cases, in many cases, were almost as bad as the conditions that people had that they started taking the drugs for. It just didn't feel right to me. And I left the medical profession behind. You know, I was doing very well. Edinburgh Medical School at that time was probably the best course in this country. It's not really that anymore, because then I was their first student. And I was supposed to have remained within the medical profession. I was offered a professorship, which I would have taken on about the age of 24 or 25. But in the end, it just didn't seem to be the right thing. I was already becoming interested in what is known as natural pharmacology, the pharmacology of food and food derivatives. And I took a job with the Committee on Safety of Medicines. I was an advisor to that committee. And so I was looking at the files of data that were being submitted to the CSM, Committee on Safety of Medicines. And I was preparing the reports that the senior personnel, the professors, would then file to determine whether a drug should be given a license or not. So I was looking in great detail at lists and lists and lists of side effects, and looking at those of people who'd been harmed and killed in attempting these drugs. I knew there had to be a better way. And I had been talking to other people who were involved in natural medicine. I was talking to holistic practitioners, naturopaths, homeopaths, herbalists, anyone I could find to talk to, really. Looking for clues, what another form of health care might be. And that was my journey. But it wasn't the public journey. The public journey was this continuing work towards better and more specific pharmaceutical models and drugs. The whole pharmaceutical model, when you think about it, at its core, is this concept of specificity. The idea that you could knock out one enzyme, one receptor, one piece of DNA, you could inhibit the progression of the disease, that you could stop it from happening, that you could cure your patient. That's been the whole thrust of pharmaceutical research for the last half century. And it has become better and better at doing this. It has moved from receptors to subclasses of receptors, from enzymes to isoforms of those enzymes. And now, as you know, the biologicals, many of them target genetic information, which is so specific, you can't